Learning Objective 2 from Section 1.4 is to identify different sampling methods. The Dean of Student Life at a particular college would like to sample students at the college. Fill in the blank to identify which sampling method is used in each situation. So let's first talk about the 5 different sampling methods that you want to be able to recognize. A cluster sample is one where the observational units in the population are divided up into subgroups, and we select some of those subgroups randomly and then use all of the individuals within the selected subgroups. So I'm going to add a little note here that in a cluster sample, we are using all observational units, and I'm going to abbreviate here, from some subgroups. In a cluster sample, we call those subgroups clusters. Next, we'll do a multi-stage sample. In a multi-stage sample, we randomly select some subgroups and then randomly select some observational units from those subgroups. So this is where we use some, do some ditto marks, observational units from some subgroups. Next is a simple random sample. A simple random sample is one where we randomly select some observational units, but not from subgroups, from the whole population. So in a simple random sample, the population is not divided into subgroups. Stratified sample. In a stratified sample, we are dividing the population into subgroups again, but in this case, we are selecting some observational units from all subgroups. So it is most common for students to get cluster samples and stratified samples mixed up. So in a cluster sample, we just select some of the subgroups and use every individual in them. In a stratified sample, we select some individuals from all of the subgroups. And then a systematic sample is usually the easiest to identify. That's where we select every kth individual or every kth observational unit. We usually start with a random number as the first person, and then we select every kth individual. So let's look at these examples here. The student ID numbers for all students are listed in the database. A computer randomly selects 180 ID numbers. So here we have all of the students in the population, and we're randomly selecting some of those students. That is a simple random sample. Some students selected from the entire population. Part 2. The college offers degrees in 24 majors. 12 students in every major are randomly selected. So the majors are our subgroups here. And we're going to select some students, 12 of them, from all majors. Some observational units from all subgroups is a stratified sample. Part 3. 7 section numbers are randomly selected from the list of courses offered. Every student registered in those 7 sections is selected. Here our subgroups are section numbers, and we are using all the students in those section numbers. All observational units from just some subgroups is called a cluster sample. Part 4. From the registrar's lists of students, the 18th and every 33rd student thereafter is selected. Here's where you can see every kth observational unit. Our K here is 33, so every 33rd student is being selected. That is a systematic sample. And finally, part 5, 10 buildings on campus are randomly selected. At a given time, 15 students in each of the selected buildings are randomly selected. So now we have subgroups of buildings. We're randomly selecting 10 of those, so that's some subgroups. And from the subgroups, we're randomly selecting 15 students, so some observational units within the some subgroups. That is a multi-stage sample.